7-pound smallmouth.
No.
And they made him fillet it.
Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth.
Well, this is the first time I've sat down without a plan. No idea what we're going to talk about. We're just going to talk. I do kind of want to talk about Table Rock crappie, so I think I guess I do have an idea. Are you awake?
Is it started?
Yeah.
Oh.
Get off your phone. You can't keep you off your phone. You're on that thing all the time.
But where am I supposed to look?
You can look at me, or you can look at the camera, or you can look at that Dasani water bottle. I don't care.
How close does this thing have to? How close does this thing have?
Yeah, that sounds better. It's better when it's closer. Don't be touching the mic stand.
Well, how are you supposed to move it if you don't touch the mic stand?
Why do you need to move it?
Because I just asked you, does it sound better?
So
I moved my head instead?
Should have had it ready.
Is this how all your podcasts start?
No, not really.
Okay. I've never done a podcast, don't know anything about a podcast. I never watch podcasts. I just know there's 4 million podcasts. And that's not an exaggeration. I looked them up.
I think they're kind of fun. I think it's a good way to, I mean, we've sat in a truck together enough hours. I don't need to get to know you any better, but there's a lot of people out there that
don't know me,
don't know you, and that, yeah, or people I sit with that I don't know. That's kind of what's fun for me. This is different because I know you really well. So, but yeah, anyway, guys, we've got Scott Turnage here. Scott is the host of G3 Sportsman. He's done outdoor productions for probably since I was in elementary school. When did you start doing that?
2003.
Okay, so I was in middle school.
Yeah, TV, that is, TV broadcast.
So you started on TV, obviously.
Yep.
And it was a combination show, they call it, the best combination show.
Yeah, it was an actual outdoor show because we hunted and fished and did other outdoor activities. We might have shot sporting clays and this, that, and the other. It was an outdoor show, just like in the old days when you had a outdoor show. It wasn't just specialized in catching bass or catching crappie or duck hunting or deer hunting or whatever. It was an easier time, I can tell you there, versus what you guys had to put through now.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody with a cell phone now is a show host,
right?
In their own sense. I mean,
it's
just
mind.
Well, I mean, they're doing what they want to do. You know, they want to do it, but you know, I used to think that back when I was doing TV, there was a lot of TV shows, and I guess there was, but now. My gosh, I mean, it's endless. I mean, how do you even get your foot in the door if you're a young guy right now?
Well, that's the thing, though. You can get your foot in the door if you want to. Back then, it was a lot more red tape and cost, the production, and you didn't have as easy access. Now, if you could get a little brand going, you film a few episodes, and you push yourself to Waypoint, or these TV apps now are pretty much YouTube. Right? Like you get on a streaming service and it's a lot of different shows, and you can almost control whether you want to be on there. You want to be on there.
Well, you have to be accepted to be on there. I mean, you just can't just say, okay, I've got my iPhone and I caught 8 fish and put something together and send it over to My Outdoor TV, and they go, well, yeah, heck yeah, I'll put it on there.
I guess I'm making it sound a little easier than it is, but what I'm trying to say is that it's pretty achievable if you take the time to do it right. In this day and age, back then, it would be really hard for somebody to just say, I'm going to jump on TV with Scott.
Yeah, you can't. That was no. You had to have a business plan. It was like a business. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you had to do that. Then the cost that it takes, I mean, when we got rolling, you had to get a cameraman or a crew or whatever. You had to get equipment, editing software and, computers and this, that, and the other. In the beginning, somebody would do the editing for me. And it's so hard to sit on a couch in a dark room like this and tell somebody how to put your fishing show together in your mind, how you wanted it. So I just eventually learned on my own, and you can tell by the editing now. I still don't know how to edit it. I just put them together as simple as I can. And yeah, you had to, if you went to a broadcaster like, let's say Fox Sports, I remember Rick Powers, he's actually still there. I guess it's with Bally now. He said, well, just send me a couple of your best shows. And I said, buddy, I don't have any best shows. I said, but I'll just send you 2 and you tell me whether or not. And luckily it worked out, and he gave me that Sunday morning 8 o'clock spot that I was there for a long time. But they had blocks. back then, with 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9, 9:30 or whatever. You had like a 2 hour span right there. And it was, back then how you got your information and watch your fishing shows or hunting shows was on TV. Now, these guys on YouTube and everything else, they can watch their videos on their TV from YouTube, but it wasn't actually broadcast. And so, yeah, but I got out of the TV stuff in 2017. It was just too much work. It was 26 episodes a year and
Oh my gosh.
5 different networks with Sportsman Channel and Fox Sports and NBC Sports and all that. We were airing 9 times a week. And it just got to the point it was too much. And so 2018 that's when you started doing a few things for me or whatever. And that's when I kind of took a break. And, but since then, now the streaming has come along and I'm on the streaming services. So it's basically you're doing the same thing. You just don't have to worry about commercials and it has to be a certain length and everything else. So,
yeah. Have you ever had anybody, because, they just push whatever commercial overlaid on what video. You've ever had anybody go, I didn't know you represented.
No, they're not doing Trojans or anything, in that or, maxi pads or whatever. But if they do, so what? If that helps a woman out and she knows a good brand of maxi pads, that's fine with me. I don't really care.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll shift from maxi pads everybody, you got a little background there, and we could probably talk for days about how to shoot a show and
how to
shoot content.
Yeah, and another thing about doing if you get it's sponsors, that was the main thing is to get sponsors, and now I don't know how guys
forget about it.
I don't even know how they do it.
I mean, there's so many people hitting these companies up now, and
I don't have any clue. I mean, with me where I'm at, I mean, I'm getting hit up. And
I tell you,
you're getting hit up at the shop here.
We got hit up just right now before the podcast. Listen, I will say though, there's a kid right now on Instagram. I say kid, I don't know, maybe he's in his late 20s, and his name's Mike or something, and he puts out the coolest freaking content, and he stood out to me because it was just different.
What's he catching?
Everything. Like he does creek smallmouth, he does largemouth, he does a lot of stuff. He must be somewhere where there's trout, maybe some salmon, but anyway, he just shoots it so different. And I noticed like Old Town Canoes, all the big brands start liking it, and I'm sitting there thinking, as diluted as it is, if you take the time to do it,
they'll reach out to you. They'll see that they've got, now where that used to just be a media buyer back in the day. Now there's not only a media buyer, now there's an influence guy and a digital buyer. And if you're shining out there, they'll come to you.
If they're good, if they're paying attention.
That's right. And they'll say, well, Wes, I like what you're doing. And you're thinking, well, man, I've only got like 12,000 followers. But they're saying, yeah, but we could see where with a little bit of help, you could really get to rolling. And you're getting very good followers, or not followers, but looks.
Okay, it's going to blur it out. This kid, I'm going to give him a shout out. Fish Like Mike. This kid right here.
Yeah.
He's got 354K. All right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right? And, just let me show you like something a little bit of what he's, overhead drone shots. And that's a group of smallmouth in the creek. He's, I mean, how this is. This stuff takes time to put together and make sure the GoPro's powered on, not miss your bite.
Well, it's different what he looks like he's doing because he's not doing what everybody's doing
now. He's not in a boat either.
And see, everybody else is fishing with the box, and he's out there just traditional, old school, wading out there, so that's what makes, who would have ever thought that kind of fishing is now unique?
Right. That's what it started, and it's back to it. Well, it's like I had that jet boat. Was it not last summer, the summer before? I was wade fishing all the time, and everybody's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just different. Like when you're in the boat, you're in a boat, it's work. When I'm wade fishing, I put my backpack on, I put a dip in, take one rod.
Yeah.
It feels different. Even when you catch a 12-inch fish, it feels more fun because you're in the water with it.
It's almost like you earned it.
You're right.
It's almost like you outsmarted him. You outsmarted that fish. You didn't really, you thought you knew where he might be.
Right.
So you went back to your roots and you went, behind that rock in there in that current right there, I believe there might be old Smalley. You throw back in there. Now you're surprised when he hits it. There's no surprise element now, especially when you see a fish come up and hit your bait.
Well, I think it's a senses thing too. Like you're in the water, you feel the current, you feel the bottom. You know, when you're in a boat, you got the trolling motor running and it's metal aluminum under your feet. So, you know, I'm not going to say to go out and walk in the grass barefoot and get connected to the earth, but maybe there's something to that.
Well, I mean, we're on the subject of what someone can do to get noticed, to get maybe sponsors or this, that, and the other. They've got to be doing something that's either a little different, and especially something that everybody wants to see. Now, everybody out there now, and even back in my day doing shows, they were promoting themselves. All the PROs and all this other stuff that had their shows, it was they were there promoting them. Mm-hmm. Whereas different for me, because I worked for, you know, Yamaha, the company, and G3 boats, so I was promoting that. I wasn't. Now, in hindsight, you dang right, I wished I'd have promoted me and I'd have got some more scratch. Mm-hmm. But I was a company man. I was doing it, you know, for the brand, right. You know. And so now, even Dane out there, I saw he had a hat with his initials on it. He's already marketing it himself, you know. Mm. So, you know, but yeah, it's totally changed the whole outcome, the way we watch, the way we fish now. Everything is just, I'm just like a dinosaur. I should call my stuff Jurassic Sportsman, you know, because that's kind of what I am now. Yeah. You know, but I do enjoy fishing with that box now. Don't get me wrong. Fishing has kind of went from fishing to entertainment to me because it entertains me, you know.
Well, the Dane was telling you, joking, wasn't it, saying it to you about how I couldn't fish once my love.
Yeah.
I took my kids out. I had that new 16 volt and I got a day and a half out of its initial charge. I'll skip the story, but it died. And I was sitting there and my little girl came up and she goes, "Oh man, I can tell you're upset." And you just ruined her day because she could tell. I was trying to hide it. I'm like, no, just go swim. I'll just fish. And she's like, "Oh, no, I can tell." Mm-hmm. And then we went out the next time and tried to turn it back on after I charged it, and it didn't come on. And she was immediately like, "Oh no,
not another day like this."
Yes, and that was my 8-year-old. And I didn't even fish. I tried to go fish a little bit. Forget about throwing at a brush pile or something. I was like,
that's what it's become now. That box is this. You leave the house, you get in the truck, you're patting your pocket. Oh my gosh, you're in a panic. What do I do without this? Now it's like, you know, used to you'd say you'd go fishing and they'd say, "Well, did you get any?" "No, we didn't catch any." Mm-hmm. And now they go, "Well, how'd you do?" "Well, we couldn't get them to bite."
Yeah.
Yeah, they saw them.
Yeah, they were there.
Just couldn't get them to bite, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm sure this isn't how you wanted this podcast.
You just talk, and I don't script that. We don't script any of it. I think there's sometimes Coy will read off a sheet, but I don't. We don't. Are you kidding me? We can sit there and you can just talk.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, you know. Like I said, I'm trying to get involved. Not involved. I don't want to get involved with anything. I'll try to get in tune with. Sometimes when I eat lunch, I'll turn the, as the old person would say, I turn the YouTube on, and I'll scroll through there and I'll watch some of them. Some of them so stupid that I don't watch them. But you know, there's some. There's a guy, Micah Burkhart. He just kind of started. Now it's a shameless plug beer, but he bought a G3 Sportsman 2100 to catfish in, and he just goes down the river. He's a little guy with a big beard.
Okay.
And he's a likable dude. He's got him a camera set up, and he has his problems, just like everything.
He's on YouTube.
Yeah, and he's he's a fun guy to watch catch catfish, and you know, all the bass stuff seems to run together for me because everybody's kind of doing the same things, you know, and I'm not knocking that by no means because that's today's fishing. And I'll give a shout out to all the young guys that
won $100,000.
Well, okay, I can get to that. Yeah, here he is. He's this.
I subscribe, Micah.
He's
MICKA.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Up there in Tennessee, Kentucky line.
That's Micah.
Well, he said Micah, so I'm calling him Micah. And yeah, he did. He went into this Mississippi River Cats Mega Bucks $100,000 first prize catfish tournament, which can you believe $100,000 for a catfish tournament? Him and his buddies went up there or down in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and they won the thing.
Mm.
And what I think's funny, he won it in a G3 in a Sea Art sponsored tournament. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, naturally, yeah. I think that's funny.
Heck yeah.
But I try to watch some of the and something else. What do you call them? Are they docuseries, documentaries, whatever, where somebody's just talking?
No.
On the YouTube where last week's tournament we got such and such, and there's always some kind of problem, and so this guy's got to talk about it, and then the other guy three clicks over, he's talking about the same thing and what he thinks, and
that's not a podcast.
No, he's sitting there in front of his phone, and he's sitting there. These people are talking. Well, kind of like your friend there that bashes on LiveScope.
Oh, can't say that name.
Well, I didn't. I said he's your friend, and so
I consider him a friend because we've worked together in the past, and
I don't know him.
I remember when Randy was just starting doing content, and Bridgeford was pushing to have content done, and I think it's awesome that he's found a niche. But he came and we sat in the parking lot out at my little turd media business there, over in Nixa by the high school. And I was just like, just be yourself. Like, don't try to, I'm not taking credit for what, he's done. But what I told him, and I don't know if it even resonated with him, was just be you. Like, just start filming and don't do anything but just be you.
Well, he is.
He sure enough did.
But you've got to figure. Now, think about this. It's genius at what he's doing, because it's kind of like when Howard Stern came out. Well, think about it.
You're calling Randy Howard Stern.
No, I'm giving him props, because Howard was one of those shock jocks that came in, and people that loved him watched him or listened to him to hear what he was going to say next. So same way with him, the people that hate him, what are they going to do? They're going to tune in to see what he says next.
So comments and talking, and
that's exactly. He's got rapport going.
You know what this makes me think of right away is a book called Steal Like an Artist that I read a long time ago. And you could be a wide receiver trying to make the NFL, and you stop and go, okay, I'm 5'9" and 180. Go look at another wide receiver that made the NFL is 5'9", 180. How did he do it? What were his routes? What were his strengths? Do it.
Well, what's his name that plays for Miami now?
You can Tyreek Hill.
There you go.
He's just so fast. But you could just look, if you want to do something, right? Like, look at what's happened in the past, recreate it in this day and age, so you're talking about Howard Stern, and, if you just said, man, that worked for him, I'm going to be that. There's a lot of things you can do that way.
I guarantee you. He's going to the bank every week.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Randy's not doing as well as Howard Stern, but I mean, he could at some point. I mean, you never know. So it takes all kinds. You can bash this guy, or you can bash another guy, or whatever. But they're out there.
Yeah.
That's information. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what the YouTube is for.
People are so hungry for authenticity. What am I trying to say? Authenticity. You know what I mean? If you can tell somebody's not holding back, they're just being themselves, and it's coming out. People are thirsty for that anymore.
Yeah.
And so if you can get yourself to do that without getting fired from like a corporate job.
Well, yeah. And you would almost have to do it, on your own.
Look at our president.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. People want that authenticity.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, on what I do, I'm not going to get the huge amounts of eyeballs or whatever, like a lot of these younger guys or whatever, because I'm past my prime. I mean, that's, in fact, I was past my prime when I started. So mine is still, I only know how to do one thing, because even in me putting stuff on YouTube, of course, then I had it out with Google several years ago. So I'm like the black sheep on there. But anyway, that's a different podcast.
You sound like my dad with Facebook.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying. But anyway, I say I about lost my train of thought now. But anyway, how I have to do things is, I have to tell a storyline, because not only do they go to the YouTube, I have to put them in streaming, and they want an episode. So that's how I have to shoot it. So I still stick to the four principles of, where are you, what are you catching, how are you catching them, and why. And so,
stick to the poor
poor
principles.
Yeah.
Gas station taquitos.
And so, yeah.
87 fuel in your boat.
Well, yeah. I mean, just about anything. That's part of it. You know, I mean, the last one I did sucked. I mean, it was awful. But you know what? I told them, I said, if I have to be out here in this heat and I got these cameras and I'm out here working, you guys are going to have to just watch it. Hell with it. It's just so it's like a marriage. I've been doing this for 20 years, and so they've had my better, so now they're just going to get my worst.
Oh, I saw live PD in Ozark last night. 3 sheriffs rolled up, camera crew got out.
Yeah.
I don't know why that popped in my head just now. You said something about it, but I want to talk about. So I want people to be able to take something from this, right? You fished crappie for a long time.
Well, they hadn't taken anything from this now.
We got to give them. We got to talk about some crappie.
There ain't even nobody watching right now, so it's just me and you talking.
Let me tell you something. It's your fault I'm sitting here right now with brown knees. You know what that means? Think about it real deep.
Well,
no, just be careful.
I'm just saying.
Be careful. But
hey.
Just be careful, but think about that.
You weren't pleasing me.
All right. It's because crappie fishing. All right. I've been sitting down in a Millennium seat.
All right. Here's what you should have said. The top of my legs are brown.
Well, it wouldn't have set it up for some kind of.
Okay, go ahead.
So you of course, if it's here's Scott, you throw something up, he's just like the guy on Rookie of the Year.
Hey,
he's going to hit it.
You throw those waist-high fastballs now. I mean, it's just, they're going out.
Well, it'll make a good social clip.
So what are you getting at that you're crappie fishing now?
Bass fish anymore. I bass fished once in like this past year.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go back to bass fishing for me right now because I'm looking at that screen. I've got this beat down mount that pops all the way up and swivels, and they make some awesome
and
stuff.
It's fun. But here's the thing, bass, they say that's the number one sport fish out there. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you go to any lake and you spread the word that you can literally catch a bass on a bare hook, there'll be a few boats at the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, at any given time, these crappie could start turning on, you can't find a parking spot.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the people that eat at Long John Silver's. They don't go out of business, so people are going through there. But who are they? So you're saying that crappie guys, it's not like you're seeing them everywhere. We're not selling out on the pegs of all these, bodegas. But if there's a bite going on, they just show up in
in hordes. I mean, it's amazing. And another thing, a bass fisherman will crappie fish. A crappie fisherman, he ain't bass fishing.
Okay, but I started bass fishing.
I just said.
Right, okay.
Bass fishermen will go catch crappie.
So bass guys will go to the other side, but you're saying crappie guys have no reason.
Crappie guys, nope. They're ditch pickles to them. No.
Okay, there may be something to that.
Well, of course there is. I mean, that's just how it is. But you said you started doing that, but it's fun.
Yeah.
You can catch more.
Keep them.
You can eat them.
Yep.
Now, and it is odd about crappie. I mean, they always say feel the thump or whatever. All it is that.
Yeah.
And it's not even that dramatic
as
it sounded right then. It's just that little thump. It's not like they fight real hard or whatever. Once you get them to the top, they're done, but there's just something. That thump on that rod is as exciting. I wouldn't put it as exciting as hitting topwater, but it's just as exciting as if you cast out there 30 feet, drop it down 12, and
So these, I've been fishing mainly Table Rock, so I've been having to fish a pretty tough crappie lake in the grand scheme of where we live. And if you go to Truman or you go to Stockton, and I'm not trying to build credit here, I'm just talking about Table Rock. Really is not known for crappie.
No,
a lot of people I tell that's where I'm going. They're like, oh, really? I can't. What? And it's like, look, you can't go main lake and catch them consistently. I've never even caught more than a few just main lake.
Well, think about the White River chain right here. Beaver Lake is more, that's a good crappie lake, then you run into Table Rock and it kind of, and then you go down Bull Shoals, that's a hell of a crappie lake right there. Norfolk's a good crappie lake. And like you said, Truman. Now Truman is built for crappie, because it's not real deep. It's a lot of structure. Stockton is good. Pummy's good.
Is it the dirtier water? The Bull's not dirty, but it's a great crappie.
Well, they still have to, regardless of the water, when the crappie are in there, they're going to live. But it just, I think it's just the environment. This lake here, even though Bull Shoals is just as deep as Table Rock, this deep, clear water, and it's so big. Table Rock is a big ass lake. So they're not going to be hanging out over that 90 foot or 100 foot a lot of times. Now, they are at bull shows only because they're standing timber.
Yeah.
That those crappie are, it may be in 80 feet, but the crappie are only 25 feet, you know, so they're in top of those big trees. And we've got that at Table Rock, but I don't know what the deal is as to why they're just not all over the lake to catch. They're all over the lake, but, you know.
Well, it's like, you know, Matt would always say, oh, well, you could go to Indian Point and there's a whole pile of.
Well, he always says that. He goes, oh, when I was fishing today, I found a huge school of
And
crappie.
I started asking him, well, how many did you catch? Well, we did. They were just, I just saw them.
Yeah, we just went over them or
Yeah.
whatever. You didn't mark them on the GPS to give me a coordinates or anything.
So I keep looking at the computer because these peckerheads, Coy and Eddie, come in here and shoot their podcast, and then they don't plug the computer in. So
it's not plugged in?
it's got a red battery right now. We're at 30 minutes, which if you'd ask Scott before this podcast, he'd say 30 minutes, geez. But I think he's kind of enjoying the podcast. I think we can get him to talk more, but I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to go.
So when this ends, it ends.
Yeah, but I don't know. We might have to.
And you don't have a power
No,
supply?
here's the thing about the MacBook. It's got 2 USB-C slots, and that's it. So,
But it doesn't have a power cord?
It does. It's right here, but they didn't plug it in after the last one. Right now, there's 2 inputs:
You can't plug it in now.
audio and video.
At day and time, you don't have a plug-in.
Audio and video are going into these inputs. There's 2 inputs on.
I get that.
And
You
there's
don't have a
power cord right there.
Is it plugged in?
No, you can't because there's no way to plug it in.
So the power source goes to a USB.
This is that stupid app. Now, my new MacBook, they went back to the actual power adapter, and then you have your.
So
USB.
we're spending the last few minutes of this podcast talking about your
Hold on.
your laptop. Well, while he's gone, I guess am I running this now? Now that you're gone.
9%. We got at least 15 minutes, so we're good because that's about what we need anyway.
Well, obviously, we haven't accomplished anything. We haven't taught anybody anything. We've just been sitting here. Somebody's been sitting at our living room coffee table just listening to us talk.
We're good. Forget about it.
All right.
It's got
Well,
9%.
we're out.
So we're talking about crappie on Table Rocks. Okay, in the spring, obviously, if you're trying to go down there and fish, and I'm going to tell you what I think, and then you tell me what you think. I think you could go run those brush piles like you're saying. Just run core piles if you're trying to figure out how to catch crappie on Table Rock. You can just run core pile to core pile. And you're
Are you talking about in the spring?
Yeah, let's say from January till May or April. All right, because once it gets hot, I'm not going to give you a lot of advice because it gets really tough.
Yeah,
for everything.
They don't like it,
but they can be suspended. Those big fish are a lot of times just suspended, and you got to figure out what they look like on live scope.
Well, they're predators, the bigger ones, so they're roaming in the same areas as largemouth and whatever else. They're looking for the same food source.
And they're eating a bigger bait.
Well, if you find bait, I mean, the only reason a fish would be anywhere is he's got something to eat or he's trying to find something to eat. They need cover. They need a escape route. They need food. So, but like I said, Table Rock is so big. I mean, Long Creek is a great place, which you've never fished. Cricket Creek on even down there, great place for crappie.
No, I never go that way.
And of course, everybody thinks Cape Fair is, and it is, but I mean, you can go to put in at the state park. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Put it in state park, go straight across. And that's another thing because it's so big. There's so many cuts.
Yeah.
That go. I can't think of all the names. Cow Creek and all, there's crappie in there. You just got to scan around with the box. And
I need to do that more. I need to just go, hey, I'm going to go mid-lake on Table Rock today, and I'm going to try to catch a crappie.
Yeah, and you can do it. You can find them. It's a hell of a lot easier now than it was 10, 20 years ago.
You remember where all those birds were diving? We caught those smallmouth that morning, and just right past that dock, there was a couple marks I threw in there. Dunk! It was a big old black crappie, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I haven't caught a crappie in this cut ever.
Yeah.
But I couldn't catch. It was just a random thing. It wasn't like there was a bunch of them right there. So it'd be tough
at Wayne's World.
Yeah.
How tough are they?
Hey,
and there's a lot in there.
That cut right there is a good cut.
It is, but
for everything.
He's got them fish lockjawed over there, man. That Wayne has just said,
There's an
Don't
old
bite.
man that's on a dock named Wayne, and off his dock there's a ton of brush pile. Years and years of him dumping brush, and so we call it Wayne's World. And we happened upon it one day, and Scott caught a giant crappie.
Well, we caught like 4, boom, 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 and then man, they would not bite. I threw everything at them. So, is this why we're talking? We're going to be trying to tell somebody where to go, or
No, not really. We're just talking about Table Rock crappie.
no?
We don't have to just say, now look, if you go back in here,
I'm gonna. Here's the one mystery that I feel confident I could go to Table Rock with the box and find some crappie to catch. But here's the one mystery, and it's my own fault because I've never really looked for them. You know how big those whites are at my honey hole down there in Arkansas?
yeah.
How big? I mean, 3 and 4 pounders.
Oh, giants.
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Because you know where they go when they spawn?
to the lake.
They go back to Table Rock. Where are them big ass
Right,
things?
right. And every so often in the summer on like Table Rock, you'll be fishing also.
There's always that rogue that'll. Well, you did that.
Or somebody's dumping gravel from the sky, and the white bass are there.
We did that at Virgin Bluff. Remember, you come through and you went, "Oh my gosh, I got
Right.
a good bass," and it was a huge white bass.
Yeah.
Where are they at? I wonder. They must not be schooled. They must just spread out because they're huge.
Yep. See,
And where
that's-
are they?
Talking about like niches and content, if a guy would hone in on these concepts and say, like Jeremy Wade, I'm going to go try to figure out where these big whites go in the summertime when they migrate back down here. And you might catch one and go, okay, here's a little tidbit. Now I need to, and then you're talking to a guy at a bait shop and he says, well, that would be a cool way to run your show right there, is to start delving, but then you're expanding it so deep.
Yeah, I mean Larry Dahlberg, a buddy of mine, he's the hunt for big fish, and he's done that, but I don't think he's ever went after big white bass.
Yeah.
But he traveled to Africa and everywhere else. He came back one time. We were all at a big Yamaha powwow, and he was talking about Ebola broke out there.
Oh my God!
And he was telling it to the president of Yamaha. We were standing there, so
Everybody's backing up.
well, Ben said, "Hey, I'll tell you right now, whoever gives the president Ebola is fired." So, but I've always often wondered, and something else. We're talking about Table Rock. You know what we like? Walters.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we have got a great population, but I bet you there's a handful of guys that can just thump them.
Were you in here the other day when we were selling those bottom bouncers to that guy? Was it my dad may have been with me? And he's like, we're just catching the crap out. Trolling right now, bottom bouncers and worm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's some good ones. He's like,
Hey, I'm all over that.
yeah.
Who cares about them ditch pickles? Who even cares about crappie? You get into some walleye now?
I could be persuaded and do nothing but meat fish.
That's what you need. You see, you need a real fisherman
What
on
is-
your podcast. That's a walleye angler.
Mm-hmm.
See,
I mean,
I don't specialize in anything.
Yeah, Eric Oliverson guides and does pretty well on those walleye. But, here's the thing about it. That's one of those things people don't want to talk about.
No, they really don't want to give up their spot. Like Captain Rick, I told you where to go because I saw
don't
it.
remember where it was.
Well, I know. And I'm sorry, Rick, I'm not going to give it out. So don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, Captain Rick LaPointe, that's a, if somebody's interested in getting into some walleye or whatever, Captain Rick LaPointe is a good guy to go with.
Yep.
But Table Rock offers so many different varieties. I don't know if they got, well, I mean, they do have a flathead, obviously, because
Yeah, we caught a big
you guys caught that, but I don't think there's really any blue cat or whatever in there.
Right. Surely there's some.
But the Kentuckys and the smallmouth and the largemouth, the crappie, like I said, the white bass, and now the walleye. And I think since the walleye really weren't native to this area, I think they've just buddied up with the largemouth, and that's how they feed. Because you can flip a dock and catch a walleye.
How about them goggle eye?
There's some hammers
Table
in
Rock.
you find you a down tree or whatever in that little shallow water, like back in the right there at the state park, that big marina right there. They put in a lot more docks back there now, but we used to slip all the way back there when I'd fish tournaments with Shane. He'd be flipping docks and I'd be catching walleye out of a tree out of the back of the boat.
Yeah. We could go today.
It's too hot.
Too hot.
It's
we
too
could go.
hot.
We could go today.
We should have the phones. Turn the phones on and let's get some people calling in here. And
Well, it's
it's not a live podcast.
they savaged our podcast here.
This is not a live thing. This is like a TV show.
No.
We shoot it,
Yeah.
and then 6 months later, it's out.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. We could edit it. We could not post it, but we post.
But we could act like, hey, let's go to the phones right now. Hey, who's this caller?
I could call Eddie right now and say, hey, do you remember to plug in that computer? And he'd go,
Well, I can tell you right now, Eddie couldn't do a podcast if that thing was, because he doesn't get going good till at least an hour. His podcasts are
an hour and a half.
2:45 or something.
I think this is just a teaser. We're at like almost 40 minutes is all, and we got 4% battery. So
4%. So
might
we're
make
all
40.
We're all done. So there ain't nobody watching it right now anyway. So we can just say we've bored everybody to death because we have not. This is not what you thought this was going to be.
Here's the thing, though. If the battery was fully charged, I think we'd be going an hour and a half.
Well, there's a lot that you can, talk. If you just want to tell stories and this, that, and the other, I mean, there's plenty or any other. Well, what's the hot topic right now?
Right now in fishing general?
Sure.
Well, they just come off. I don't know. There's not a lot going right now. They just come off ICAST, so, But there's nothing going.
ICAST. All right. Let's talk about ICAST real quick, since we only got 4%. Any of you guys, we were talking about this earlier. Any of you guys that are serious and you want to do something and get a sponsor, don't just go to ICAST in your jersey and everything else and just walk up to whoever and say, "Hey, man, I got a so and so followers. I'm a fish catching dude. How about $100,000?"
Right.
I mean, right now is when you should be getting ready for next year's ICAST. Mm-hmm. You need to set up appointments. You need to get whatever, if you have a media kit or whatever you need to do, get in there and get you an appointment with the digital guy or gal that's going to handle this, and get you an appointment. Because when I used to fly in there, I'd have my appointment set every 45 minutes and then sign your contract. I don't even know if they do contracts anymore. Sign the contracts, get in, get her done, and get gone.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. Because if you're going to make a living at this, unless you got grandma hall money, you're going to have somebody help you pay for this. And if you want a sponsor, everybody else is beating the door down. So you need to have some street cred, and you got to get in there and get you an appointment with somebody.
I don't know. I would say good luck if you're having to farm it. You got to get it to come to you.
I think today, I think you're right.
Buy it, okay? So, like, beat down, right? I didn't just go I was talking to, the owner, Blake, and so, I had a connection there, and I've got this store. So there was conversations, and I just texted him one day and said, hey, I bought this shorty mount. I love it. Gave him some feedback, started taking some pictures. Go buy something from somebody. Mm-hmm. If you think you're good at photography, don't just say, hey, I can do all this. Go do it. Get their attention, show you're invested in them first, and then maybe that can lead to something. But don't expect it either.
Yeah. A lot of it now, when they say sponsors and this, that, and the other, they're just getting stuff at a discount or whatever. I think a sponsor they're paying you.
Yeah.
You're getting a check. You're getting a draw. That's what I call a sponsor.
And be careful about those people, like those guys that try to slap logos everywhere. People can see through what a really organic sponsor is. So if you're saying I work with such and this and that, first of all, if you're having to tell people that, to me, it doesn't come off very well. You've got to be, it's just like anything. You don't brag about yourself. You don't push accomplishments. You shouldn't. Nobody's going to receive that well.
Yeah. Well, and still, even getting, especially with the electronics now, if you can get it at half off, that's a heck of a deal.
Save some money. You're making money.
Well, you took my line, but yeah, that's exactly right. So if you're spending half that and you've got your electronics, I guess you could honestly say that you're at least a supporter of the brand.
Well, look, this stinks. It's 40 minutes. Does it feel like 40 minutes to you?
No.
So I've been trying to get you to come on here like, oh, no, ho-humming around. But
and now you get me on here and
you're like, yeah,
you shortchange me.
Just teasing. We're just teasing, right?
So this is part one.
So guys, if you want Scott to come back on, I need you guys all to drop comments and talk about what you want to hear from Scott.
Well, you're going to have to, you're just going to have to put your own different post out there because, like I said, nobody right now is watching.
No, we got some viewership.
You think so?
We do. We've got some, and it's grassroots. So it's, even if it's a couple hundred people, it's more than the 30,000 I got here or whatever, because these people started from this is brand new.
And there's 4 million podcasts.
Well, this is a Midwest thing. You've got the guys doing Ozark podcast. So we're bringing in Midwest people. I'm going to have Jay from Hummingbird come on. here pretty soon, so it'd be neat to hear from him. I think you should join us. I think.
Well, I'm shooting an episode with JE to go over all the hummingbirds.
Well, why don't you come on in here?
Well, I can't. He can't teach me about all hummingbirds doing the podcast.
Well, why don't you make it a dual thing?
I think that's something that you two can.
Okay. Well,
that you can do.
I think it'd be.
You don't need two old guys.
I think it'd be neat to have two old farts on here at the same.
Well,
time.
you wouldn't even get a word in. We'd just be
That's
sitting here
fine.
telling.
I'll sit right there. I want him to be on camera.
That's the good thing about old guys. We have a lot of stories, you know.
You and him could be there. Just I'll be off camera. I can be over here making sure the audio is good. That'd be great. That's what we're gonna do. You're coming on. You can't even have a say in it. Jay, you're gonna join Scott here in the next 10, 15 days. We didn't get to cover anything. We talked about. So this is how Eddie does his hats right here. No, don't do that. I look here.
Too late now.
Social media pic.
Too late now.
I'll catch you with your pants around your ankles sometime.
If I care.
Pause. These podcasts are kind of fun. Scott was hating on them. He was, guys. He was.
Are we doing it?
He was big time in this podcast.
Are we doing? I mean, it's back on again.
Yeah, and we're gonna mess these. Let's get the mics all situated. How's that?
And you want to be a podcaster? Okay, you're going to tell them what? I mean, just to do the. We don't even need to tell them.
We went to Dollar General.
We don't even need to tell them. I mean, I warned them. I said it's just going to go. So how are you splicing that in?
It's just gonna be what it is.
Look how fuzzy mine is. Look how clear yours is. Have I got that fuzzy thing or whatever over? Look at mine right there. Look how fuzzy. It
comes in clear when you.
What do they call that when they?
Because trust me, when I started this, I was cussing that. God can't get. Why does it look like that? And then when you export it,
I just noticed how clear yours is, and if there's anyone that needs to be clear and fuzzy, it should be reversed.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. You're not cropped in very good either.
Well, once again, I'm cropped in pretty dang tight in here. God help you if you got a big boy coming in here.
We've had some big boys. We've had Justin Garner sit there. We've had Luke Ruth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they were not comfortable.
We mentioned it.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Crappie on Table Rock, I think.
Still?
That's what I'd like to talk about.
I thought we just figured out you could catch them this time of year. Go on to the next subject.
So that's the subject. Is summertime is tough for me on Table Rock, period.
We just had a guy before the podcast say he went out yesterday, was back in by 10 o'clock and caught 20 and would have had enough to win a tournament.
Bass?
That's what he said.
That's Jack. He's retired. Doesn't count if you're retired.
Well, then I don't know where to go with that then.
I think where we go with it is if you got enough time to stay on the water, you can always catch them, right?
Okay.
You hear that? As soon as we talk, it's a wee, wee.
No.
Okay, it's just
all I hear is my ears ringing.
Okay.
This is just a terrible podcast.
No, it's not. This is how, look, and now I'm going to mess with the cord again. This is a podcast.
He for these wraps that he has here. See these wraps that he has on cables? His cheap self went and got rod sleeves, and this is
it looks just like a rod sleeve.
Went and got rod sleeves.
And now that I spent money buying a roll of this cord management stuff, now I wish I'd just use a rod sleeve. But that's what I'm gonna tell them it is.
That's what I thought it was. It's what it looks like. It's the same stuff. It's a rod sleeve.
Okay, so crappie in the Midwest, you always say spin a bottle. You've got Grand Lake.
Well, we mentioned that earlier. The lakes, we did that. We talked about that. Or is this just a recap from the first?
No, we never got any. We just barely started talking about crappie in Bull Shoals and Table Rock.
Well, around here, you're right. You can spin the bottle, and wherever it lands, you can hit water. There's no doubt. You know, let's say within an hour and a half of Springfield, of course, Truman. I can put Stockton in there because it seems like sometimes it takes 2 hours to get to Stockton, and it's the closest lake we got. Stockton, you got Palmy, Grand Lake. That's another fish factory right there. Right now, I mean, just the white bass are everywhere on Grand Lake. Aiden over there is just putting a whooping on them.
He's always putting a whooping on them.
And the crappie, I mean, Grand Lake is just now. It's rougher than a wood hauler's ass out there, you know, this time of year with all the bigger boats and this, that, and the other. But I'm telling you, man, that is a fish factory. Truman, the guys are really doing good catching crappie on Truman. Stockton, the bite's been, I think it's been pretty good. I talked to a guy just the other day. I can't remember who it was, but he's been going over to Palmy and catching a mess of crappie. You almost very seldom, when people get to talking around here, I caught a mess of crappie, whatever, they mention all the lakes, but very seldom do they mention Table Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you just don't really think of Table Rock as a crappie lake. Now, you and I both know that there's crappie there. Mm-hmm. But like we said earlier, I mean, it's so big and spread out. But then again, so is Bull Shoals. Mm-hmm. But this time of year, go over to Bull Shoals, get them bluffs, in that deeper water with them big standing timber, and you get your arm broke in there.
Yeah. Big old black crappie.
That's
the thing about Table Rock is if I catch a black crappie, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of them. And it seems like when you find one, you find the bunch. It can be one log and boom, a black crappie. I can count on it being black crappie the rest of the way. But it's mainly white crappie.
Yeah. And they're always just dang near every one you catch is a keeper.
Oh, yeah. You don't catch many shorts.
You don't, I mean, there's bigger ones, but I mean, every one you get is 11, 12 on average. Yeah. So the average size for Table Rock is better than, with the exception of Bull Shoals, but I'd say it's comparable.
Very. I mean, a 15-incher, we've had multiple 15-inch fish in a day that now it doesn't really surprise me when it's right.
No. So the quality of fish is there. Like I said, you can go to Truman and catch 100 crappie and 60 of them may be 8 inches.
Yeah. See, I'd rather be at Table Rock and I'd rather catch 8 and have 2 hammers than catch 60, 10 to 12 inches at Truman. That's how I'd rather fish. Well,
there's one thing about it. You feel like you have accomplished something. If you go to Table Rock and catch a limit of crappie, you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
That show I shot earlier, and that I thought I had found, man, look at me. I found a brush pile just plumb full of big old keeper crappie. And after I caught about 3 of them, I looked up there and it was a conservation pile. But these crappie were staging. They were just roaming and moving. It was like a football team or whatever, and they were just staying the night in this motel, and then they were just checking out in the morning. But man, I'll tell you, and they were feeding. You thought I was kidding when I said I wore them out until I showed you that net full. And then you went like the next day and caught 2?
Yeah, on that pile, I didn't catch near as many as you.
Yeah, because but that was in the spring. Of course, now you want to talk about spring crappie, that's pretty easy. I mean, you can pretty much find them then. But right now, I mean, you got to earn them. I mean, they could be deep, they could be shallow. I don't know. I think probably up in the rivers is the the James and the White, the Baxter area probably.
I mean, I went with Bub the other day. Bub's my boy. He's 6. So anybody with kids knows when you go fish, somebody always says, "How'd you do?" And I'm like, if you got kids and I told you, well, I took my kids out, that's all you need to say.
Yeah, never mind.
If you don't have kids, you think, well, how many did you, they'll say, well, how many did you catch? Okay. And I'd rather take him and catch 2 than not take him and catch 20. But we went and we checked those piles up there in my normal spots up Cape Fair, up the river, and they had fish, but they were little because you could get them to bite and it was just a bloop, and they weren't there. They couldn't even get the 2.5 inch swim bait in their mouth hardly, or they'd take your tail. I didn't see any big crappie that day.
And I'm sure they're roaming just to find food, a food source or whatever. You could probably find a school. I mean, you look on social media and you're looking and everybody's got their box up there and they're showing just, loads of crappie and treetops and stuff. So,
what about thermocline?
That'll probably be closer into the rivers, I would say. And
there's a major thermocline in there right now. You can see it.
In the main lake?
And up the river.
Yeah, that's what I start saying. It'd have to be in the river.
But
about 20 feet.
Thermocline, they want to stay above it? Or above it, right?
Yeah, the lack of oxygen is below that.
So I think maybe that's part of it, because a lot of these brush piles I was fishing were, fairly deep, not deep, but maybe below that thermocline. I think these big ones, I need to start looking back out like I am in the winter back out in the guts, suspended a foot under the water.
Well, and I mean, you can all if you're bass fishing and you're catching bass from 8 to 20 foot deep, even though we've got 140 feet right out from us, that's a telltale sign right there that how many times is it that you stumble up on and you find crappie in the same areas? They're feeding on the same things. I think we mentioned that earlier too. So,
well, when I'm going twice a week, I'm always on them. And it may be an hour or two that next day where you're like, wait a second. Okay, they're not here. And you're right behind them. It's like a hunter. You go out in the woods. If you're tracking a herd of elk every, 2-3 times a week, you're going to be pretty close to where they were. If you take a couple weeks off, show back up, who knows where they're at? They move around. These fish move around. So if you're not out there with them, on their tail pretty consistently, you can lose them, and it take you a full day of recon to kind of get back. Okay, what's going on? Sometimes 2 days on table rock.
That's where the boxes come in now. That saves so much time. Where before you caught fish in this area, you would just keep going back and pounding that area. There's so many people that it's funny. With the box is, they crappie's one of them deals that the majority of people just keep everyone they catch. But it's kind of like, well, they whipped my butt the last 30 years. Now it's my turn.
The box is live scope, for those of you that are wondering why you keep saying the box. I know most people probably know, but there's somebody listening that's thinking, what is he talking about?
Yeah. Well, that covers all of them. The box.
But live scope covers them all too.
It really does. It's like when I grew up, we called everything a Coke. And they'd say, hey, give me a Coke. And they go, what kind? I'd say, Mountain Dew. And so really, it is. It's just live scope. Right. We called everything a Dairy Queen. And we didn't have a Dairy Queen in town. But that's what that's just what we called them. Everything was a Dairy Queen.
So you grew up in the Boot Heel or Boot Hill?
There's no hills. You can see whole trains down there. It's so flat. You can stare off into the west and see the back of your head. I mean, it's just really, really, really. It's crops, row crops, soybeans, cotton, corn, milo, rice down there. It's a very, very poor. In fact, the county I grew up in is the poorest county in the state.
Okay.
They used to when I was growing up there, everybody had a farm, 40 acres and a mule, I guess. Back from the New Deal. And now I think like 10 people own all the farms. So it's just really there's no industry. So how'd you
get into fishing? Was there lakes down there?
The closest lake.
Reelfoot or something, right?
Reelfoot. And we used to have to cross a ferry across the Mississippi River to get there. And I cut my teeth on Reelfoot, and that was brim and crappie. Is what I mainly caught there. You had Wapapella and Poplar Bluff, but I never fished it. And we had the Mississippi River. My buddy, she's a mile wide and rough and big and whatever. And we'd be out there in a 14-foot John boat and catfishing and whatever. We were tougher
Bodies
back in those days.
By.
But you don't pay no attention to that. You just take your boat paddle and push them away. You don't want to pop them. Right. Especially if they were bloated or whatever. But, that's usually, but around a dead body was where the catfish were eating. So that was always if you found one, you'd fish around it.
Okay,
that's a guarantee to get, yes. You always, that was one of the things you did when it slowed down. You just started looking for a dead body. Yeah. Get that cadaver bite going. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Those good stories there.
Well, and you did hunting too. So you probably did more hunting growing up than fishing.
Yeah, we did. Because back then we actually had, I don't know if any of you younger guys know what a bob white quail is, but we just had tons of them.
Yeah.
Everybody had a bird dog. We'd go before school. We'd bump 2 or 3 coveys of quail before first hour.
Wow.
Man, we'd have the dog still in the back of the truck.
He'd just be sleeping while you go to class, shotgun in the back of the window.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All of our guns was in the trucks.
Right. Nobody got shot back then.
No. Well, and if you come to shoot up our school, good luck to you, buddy, because you're gonna get shot at back.
Right.
We would throw clay pigeons with a hand thrower on the football field.
Who'd pick them up? You just play on them.
Yeah, you just play on them.
Just shattered clay pigeons.
Well, our football team was so bad that our homecoming games were away. So that's how bad we were. But
what about your baseball team? You have a good baseball team?
Yeah, they always had a pretty decent baseball team. Back then, you just wore the uniforms that were passed down from several years later. Your grandma would get them and sew the name back on. Or
were you dipping back then?
Well, we started chewing tobacco by last year in Little League, so we were 12. So
how'd that start?
And you could buy
somebody bought a bag.
No, you could pick up Coke bottles or whatever, make a little extra money, and then go buy you a bag of Beech Nut. I used to go in and buy my.
And so Beech Nut, is it like Levi Garrett? Was it like long?
Yeah,
leaf?
it's leaf tobacco.
So you
Red
have
Man,
to chew it into a ball.
Oh, you could spit a cup full. I mean. Now, oh yeah, I remember in the ball game I was catching one time, and Al Jackson was the little umpire behind me, and I had a foul tip come up. We didn't have all the neck guards and everything. I said I had my hat turned around backwards and a mask on. Foul tip come hit me, and I swallowed my chewing tobacco, which I had got from the superintendent before the game, because he would take that Barlow knife and he'd cut me off a piece of that Good Money Twist, and every time he'd say, "Now let it soak." Let it soak, because it's going to burn. And burn it did. But anyway, I swallowed some of that, and what made me lightheaded. And so I told Al, I said, I think I'm going to throw up. And he said, don't you throw up here, I'll throw up. And I said, well, you better widen that strike zone. And so the batter's up there going, well, hey. I think he fouled off a couple or whatever, and we got him out at the end of the inning. And I was kind of disoriented when I got up, and I was still thought I was going to throw up. And I got over to the back screen, and I was gagging pretty good, and meandered my way back to the bench, and my coach put his arm around me, and he said, he's laughing. I said, I didn't think it's that funny. He goes, I'm not laughing at you. He said, you had two people up in the stands gagging, and Al threw up. That was the umpire.
Wow.
I don't think people want to hear all this.
Yeah, they do. That's
this
great. Yes, it is.
And it is. It was a different time. Our first boat, Donald and me, my buddy Donald I grew up with, we put our money together and we bought a bass tracker.
Donald threw in 20, you threw in
no. He actually, I shouldn't say we divvied up. He actually divvied up. But back then, whatever was his is mine, and mine's his, and whatever. But he did, and bought a Bass Tracker 3. Now they've come out here a while back with the kind of a knockoff of the old original or whatever. And we had to drive up here and get it.
Up here?
Up here. Oh, yeah, you had to drive up here and get it.
To town.
To Springfield. And that was the first boat we had, because normally it was my little 12-footer or 14-foot I got from Sears, had a Ted Williams 6-horse on there and a homemade trailer. And so that, man, we were uptown. I mean, we were pooping in tall cotton with that thing. Had the AstroTurf in there, had that little 40-horse Merc. We duck hunted out of it, everything. And it was, man, I mean, that was big stuff. I think back then it cost like $39.95 or what. My truck in 1980, brand new, step-side 4-wheel drive, $7,200.
Oh wow,
that's $7,200
though. Even still, back
well,
then.
Sure, hell yes, it was.
But that's brand new. Step side. You pay more for a step side? I
don't know about that, but it had the wood floor and wood bed in it.
That's something that comes and goes, right? Like we were talking about. You don't see, there's no step sides anymore. I mean,
and these were the big step sides. They'd get so full of mud from us hunting, I'd have to bang on the top and knock the mud out of it. And I washed it inside and out at the car wash. Opened both doors, because we didn't have quad cabs.
Was it rubber floors?
Oh, yeah, everything. There'd be water 2 inches thick in the gauges.
Oh, my God.
I just washed the whole thing out.
So that's about what I need to do now with these kids playing softball and baseball. You should have seen this set of shoes Bub put in my truck the other day. I took one of them air blowers at the car wash the other day, and everybody was waving their hands, and I was blowing dust all over the parking lot.
Well, they're nasty. These kids are the nastiest.
Oh, fingers.
They were just at my house for what, 2 hours? Mm-hmm. I picked up for an hour after they left.
Sucker sticks and
everything. They just raid the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
They drink about 2 drinks out of something. There's full cans everywhere. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Yeah, the times have changed. I mean, look at what the kids get to grow up with today. I mean, these young guys, God love them, they get to see their fish. I mean, they've got these wonderful tools at their disposal. I mean, I don't blame them. I can tell you right now, hell yes, I wished at 18 I had something like that. Video games and We just had to go outside.
I mean, when I was growing up, see, you always make fun of me, being this or that, but we didn't have cell phones until we were sophomores, and those you couldn't get on the internet. If you did get on the internet on your cell phone, watch out for that bill. If somehow you open your pocket and you go, oh shit, I mean, $100 ran up in data charges.
I was 40 years old when I got my first cell phone.
I get that, but we didn't have cell phones when we were running the neighborhood, ride our bikes around and see 3 bikes out front, and that's how you knew where your friends were at. So as much as I'm 37 and you're what?
64.
So there's a pretty big gap there, but I am one of the last generations, my generation, to where we still experienced a little bit.
Well, you and Brent going out with your boat and fishing, and you just going fishing. And so now, now don't get me wrong, these young guys have to learn this. This is not something just because you turn the box on, automatically you're guaranteed anything. I think you had one of your first guests on there at how he's built his confidence up in using it. So it's basically, I guess it's a DDA principle. It's distance, depth, and accuracy, in order to be able to hit the target that you're going for. But to back up, you got to at least know where to look to be able to see the fish. So God love them, they've spent the time out there and earned and honed their craft.
Well, a kid like Wyatt, he's from Arkansas. His dad was a fisherman. He grew up fishing before any of this. Through high school, they had his high school days, he had live scope. But that kid fished more than I did. I fished a ton growing up. My dad, we fished father son. That kid fished. He's a fisherman. It's no surprise. So the scopes just made him that much better. He's still going to catch fish without it. And people know that. But the amount of fishing he did growing up, his dad's a good fisherman. So he's learning from somebody that knows spots, where these big fish like to live. He's got experience on these local lakes. So there's been a lot of time.
There's no doubt. I don't care how they argue about it. There's no doubt this has made it easier.
Yeah. Especially crappie.
I mean, it just made it easier. And for the novice guy, the weekend warrior, you say, or whatever, he gets one. He's only got a few hours a week or maybe a few hours a month. And look at the time he has now saved. Because remember, used to, you would run a bank and go, that's a good looking spot. Let's pull in there. And you might fish in an hour and not get a damn bite. Well, now you can just, you scan it in there and there ain't nothing in here. Let's go. So
the scope don't lie.
To me, it's entertaining. It's almost like when you're using that, you're going from the traditional sense of fishing into more of an entertainment factor. Like when the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now it's like WWE, and that's kind of what this fishing is.
Right.
But
it's exhausting. That's one thing nobody talks about.
It's emotionally draining.
It's when you're trying to feed a line through a jig head or something where you're so focused, your neck's tense.
Yeah. Well,
that tension, I carry it. I'm so focused. I do it working at my computer. I'm like, I sit back and
well, that's basically what you're looking at.
I'm like, I just need to take a breath. And you look up for a minute and you're just so focused on that scope that all that tension's being carried.
Oh, it'll break your back. But it's emotionally draining too. The sad part about it, you miss out on a lot of things that you would have normally seen. You'd have seen the mink running along the bank and, maybe an osprey and this, that, and the other. You could see somebody if their boat was sinking, waving their arms. You don't see that now.
We found a guy in the middle of the channel on Table Rock. It was a
kayak or
fold out kayak that you could fold out almost like a paper airplane, right? It had creases, and he was a big old boy, and boy, he was not in good shape when we pulled up on him. I said, what the heck is that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a person. And his life jacket was loose and up here at his face, and he was treading water. And I pulled up, and he's just immediately, oh yeah, great, thank you, And so I stand up, come off pad, and come off the motor, and Brent just sits there. He never got up. Never moved. I'm pulling this guy's kayak in. This guy's breaking rods, getting in my boat. Brent never moved. And so we got him in. We got him run over there. And I said, well, damn, Brent. I said, I guess you got a kid on the way. You ain't going to risk it, huh? He said, yeah, hey, you're going to paddle out in the middle of Table Rock in a collapsible kayak. You ain't grabbing onto me and pulling me in.
Yeah.
He never moved.
It's funny. And if y'all met him, you'd see why.
Oh, he wouldn't hurry in a fire.
No, he's slothy.
Yeah.
But times, like I said, times are better. I think you had Oliver on. Now there's a guy that really isn't a scoper per se. And I mean, look at the success that he's having. But he's a gypsy, though. I mean, he travels all over the country, but that's what he wants to do.
Well, they're back home now, settling into that saltwater now.
And that's a whole new avenue. Can you imagine putting an angler of his status in the ocean?
Yeah, they think of the fishing and the power of this.
It's just crazy.
Tuna.
Oh,
and they're eating good on that tuna.
Oh, he's
spoiled.
He is. He is. He's a spoiled little. He's a spoiled little brat.
Yes,
So
he is.
Everything he's got just been given to him.
It's been handed to him.
It's just handed to him.
I mean, tell you,
spoon fed. Oh yeah. But and there's a success story right there. With the internet and the social media. He's put his time in, and there's a lot of them out there that are doing that, and it's it's bad that people get pissed at people that are successful at what they're doing. They don't realize that's just like you with what you've done and accomplished and everything else, and you finally go out and get your own nice boat. Yeah. And people just rail on, it must be nice, money bags, this, that, and the other. And, well, they just like everything else, hell, it's the bank that owns the boat. You're just renting it from them. But you've afforded yourself that opportunity to do that. And so you could say different with me, all the boats I have are give to me.
Yeah.
I don't buy a boat.
Yep.
I don't buy my fishing tackle. I don't, I've been awarded that, but I feel like I've earned it too. It's a crazy world. I mean, anybody that wants to get in that, more power to them. I would probably sway them out to, buy a tire shop.
That's what I told Owen yesterday. Does glass cleaning over at Grand Lake. He's Jeff Williams' son. Jeff's in the industry. He's, what was the catfish?
Team Catfish.
And Gear for Deer.
Now he's got Lucky Strike. So Owen is his son. Could have very easily said, Dad, let me work but Owen just went out and started a glass cleaning business. And I said, how you doing? He said, I'm just so busy. Yeah.
And I said, well, don't quit doing it.
A lot of glass. A lot of glass on Grand Lake.
A lot of glass. I said, go fish on your own, but don't start getting into trying.
No, and he won't. He don't have time. But he did buy him a G3.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So he can go out and fish.
Jet boat. You didn't tell me it was a jet boat.
Yeah, jet boat. Of course, he put $5,000 worth of electronics on it, so he's got that going for him. And he said, I can't go fish without that.
I told him to get one. There's a tool called a Jet Medic. It's like a wrench. It's all metal, and it's about 10 inches long, and it's got everything you need to take your foot off your jet boat. And one time me and Lance were on the Gasconade River, and a piece of my jet foot, a little tiny piece of metal or aluminum shot up in there, and it caught that. There's only about enough room for a credit card between that impeller and the wall. And that little rock basically caught between that impeller and that wall, and it was bound up. And so I was like, well, it wouldn't go. And so it was like 6:30. It's going to be dark by 8. And we're halfway down the Gasconade, which is an hour and 10 minutes from home. And I had to take that jet foot off, and Lance he's looking at me with that look like, oh, please tell me you got stuff to do this, And that Jet Medic tool, you can take every bolt off. It's got a little wedge to take the metal you have to pry to get that impeller out, and then put everything back on one tool. And so I wanted to shout out Jet Medic, because if you guys have a jet boat, that little tool is awesome.
That would be a good thing for us at G3 to put in that boat for, for that, speaking of G3, that's who how it is. I'm employed by Yamaha. I work for G3 and I get paid by Skeeter. That's like saying, what size shoe you wear? Well, I wear 11, but 12 feels so good, I just wear 13s. But, everything is so expensive these days. Everybody wants the big glass boats and this, that, and the other. But we do offer that alternative. Like you said, the jet boat or a John boat or a duck boat or a mod V, a deep V, even pontoons. So shameless plug, if you guys are looking for an affordable, well-built aluminum boat, try G3 boats.
I've had about 6 of them myself.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've run through them for sure. But
that jet boat was the best boat I ever owned.
Yeah.
I should have never got rid of it. I do love this Skeeter, but man, that jet boat, I'm a river guy no matter what. And to be able to go out there and get in that jet boat and go up and down that river.
You know, and when we would fish there, a lot of times we weren't scoping or whatever. My granddaddy always used to say, well, they're down the bank or down the other.
Up one side or down the other.
Yeah, and we would catch those smallmouth. And,
remember that day we were on the rock crawler bite?
oh,
And we were wearing them.
Just-
big ones.
just leaning on them, you know.
And then I
that's-
went back the next day through the same crawler and couldn't catch them.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
They
another
were
thing.
spawning.
How about the terminology of all you young guys now? This chewing, they're chewing, and he choked it. And what's all the other goofy stuff y'all say?
Digging.
No, that's not as bad or whatever.
Choked it and chewing's what you hate.
Choked it, chewing. And now people putting crappie on chain stringers.
No,
and
that's all your boys.
I,
Your crew is a stringer.
I don't
holding
know who
crew.
my crew is, but
Yep.
you
I
know,
ain't calling them out by name, but your crew is a stringer.
you know,
holding crew.
well, Donald, my buddy Donald he guides on the Tennessee River, and he said he would have those young people that would come and fish with their dad or whatever, and Donald would ask, "Hey, are y'all keeping any of these white bass or whatever?" And the kid would say, "Yeah." And so at the end of the day, you know, he'd be going, "All right, we'll get these cleaned or whatever," and he goes, "No, all I want them for is a picture." And Donald's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm just going to put them on the tailgate, take a picture. I don't want them."
And then toss them.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like, you know, we used to fish because we like it. Now we fish for likes,
Right.
you know. So that's no way to be.
Yeah, you got to be a conservationist.
Well, for sure you do. You know,
Now, what about crappie? Are you concerned that live scope is going to affect the overall crappie population?
well, I don't. Well, if you say that out loud, which you just did, you're going to get these diehards that's just going to say, "There's no way. You'll never get all the crappie out of Grand Lake. You'll never get all the crappie out of whatever." I don't know. I never say never.
Could it make it healthier?
Well, as far as cleaning out, you just figure what you would do to a farm pond if you took out so many. Now I'm doing that on a small scale, but that's just one person. They say you had that pond and you started cleaning out the crappie. Well, eventually you're not going to catch that many crappie. One guy, one pond. So now you get, not to mention just how many anglers are crappie fishing, but then the guides that are some doing 2 trips or whatever. Now you're talking
And they're letting them keep their limit.
once anyway, I would hope, not the second time. But
yeah.
anyway, all right, well, let's just say 45 every day. And that's just one guide. I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, because it has made it easier to find the fish. You still have to catch them.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I may not live to see it, but at some point it might very well. I don't know how it can't.
Do you think fish are getting used to feeling that sonar and it's going to start making...
I don't know. I've never heard the sonar
What
underwater.
happens one day? Oh, if you left it on in your garage before, you can hear that.
Yeah.
You probably can't.
Well, you
'cause
can
you're-
hear that on
You couldn't hear a dump truck drive through the mattress.
You could hear it. You could hear on your transducers.
Yeah, you
when
can hear it.
Yeah.
And I'll go out in the garage and I can hear that. But
Well, there's got to
but
be
what if-
something to even things out.
what if one day you start going out there and you pan that thing and it's like getting a mission and they just run. They're just running. I could see that happening.
Okay, well, it's happened like in how the deer have evolved. You know, they used to never look up in the trees,
Right.
but now with climbers and this, that, and other, them deer looking up.
I mean, how many times getting lip, crappie are keeping them, but getting bass, getting caught, and after getting that feeling, they get put back in. Even their offspring starts to learn that over evolution, right?
Well, they have to adapt. If let's just say that the lake was full of blue heron and they were just picking them apart, eventually they're going to back off where that damn blue heron can't get them.
Right.
So they're going to eventually evolve.
If they heard like the noise of the blue heron diving in,
yeah.
they're going to know that noise, and then next thing you know, they were being chased or they were being hooked.
Well, everything has to evolve, otherwise, they would just fall victim to whatever. It's yeah.
That's a question that really intrigues me: is will they evolve to feel that?
Yeah, because this live scope's only going to get more clear.
Then what is going to happen? Everybody's going to have these things on the boat that are running fish off. Then what?
Well, the old boy that's Well, let's see. It'll be me being about 75 then, and I'm out there in my little tin boat, and I'm saying,
Wearing them
I don't
out.
know what y'all are having a problem with.
Pushing
Holding
all
them up on my chain stringer in front of y'all.
Pushing them all over your boat.
There you go.
Everybody just sonar them to you.
Just have at it, boys. Y'all want to come over and eat, you know? And it, you know, I don't know. It could be that way. I don't know. What's your battery now? You're looking at it.
I mean, it's giving me the warning again, but we get time. But we're like an hour and a half in now total. So how long are we going to talk?
I don't know. I don't know that there's anything that, like I said, I don't think anybody has learned anything. I don't think anybody's. Hopefully, you've been. I wouldn't even want to say you're entertained. I don't even know.
Are you not entertained? Well, so guys, make
I'm
sure
not
you
an
check
expert on anything.
That's for sure.
You know, jack of all trades and a master of none. You know, but when I was doing the show, and this is just for story's sake or whatever, I didn't have to learn like everybody is now on their own to go out and fish. I just had to learn whoever I was with, their patterns. So I had to learn that. And so that was what was always fun. Anytime I would go with somebody, however they were fishing, whether we were fishing king salmon in Oregon or alligator gar in Texas or, you know, catching specks in South Carolina, I had to learn their techniques. So that was what was always fun. So I got to fish a lot of different techniques, got to see a lot of the country and catch a lot of different fish. And which you've never caught redfish, which before your life is over, that's what you have to do.
I was supposed to, remember?
Yeah. Well, you caught
boy.
red snapper.
Yep. And he took us snapper fishing,
but
which was cool. What was his name again?
Glenn
Flowers.
Yeah.
Yep.
But shout out to Glenn. But yeah, it has awarded me a lot. You know, I got to see a lot of the country and fish a lot of different waters, and it was a lot of fun. And I see Oliver doing that, you know, and going everywhere and doing. But there's so many people out there now, like I said, that have done really well in social media and YouTube, and they're following their dream, and they're doing it, and they're making good money at it. So hats off to them if you can make it in this industry. I've had 2 careers, one in sales and then one in this, and I can tell you right now, I'd go back to sales and do that, but because of just how rough it was to get started and do and everything. But, you know, in the beginning, it was pretty cool. You turn a TV on a certain time, you know, and even now with the streaming, you know, you can go into a Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever, and they'll have one TV or whatever, and you just happen to be there at the right time that the streaming service is going, and you see one of your episodes or whatever, and so it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, just like your boy out there.
Yeah.
Bill Will, he said, man, I remember watching you when I was 7 years old. You know, like the little grandpa story I told you when the kid come out, and he said, you used to be Scott Turnage? And I said, yeah, I used to be him.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, I appreciate you having me on, even though I'm fuzzy.
No, you'll
there.
be clear.
You'll
be clear when we export it.
Yeah, but yeah. Hey, for all you guys, make sure you check out Modern Outdoor Tackle. Any of you guys needing web development, Modern Outdoor Media. If you're bored, you want to watch about 600 episodes on a rainy weekend, go to G3 Sportsman on YouTube. Appreciate that. Follow me, whatever, social media, G3 Sportsman, G3 Boats. I'm out there. I'm not busting it like all you guys, but you know, the old man's out there some. So I'm no competition. So you guys could watch me. So
yep, it's been fun, and we could probably do 10 hours of this, and we'll have you back on sometime. But yeah, let's bring a show host on, and he closes our podcast for us. I don't even have to close it.
Yeah, so keep what you can use, release the rest, and hey, we'll see you next time right here on the Modcast podcast.
Oh, you almost had it. The Modcast Outdoor Podcast.
Yeah, that too.
So, guys, make sure you drop comments and like, subscribe. That helps us out. Share it out there. We'd appreciate it. So, stay tuned every Friday for a new episode. Yeah, normally we have a producer here. We can hit the outro button right there, play the music. But,
so we're still live right now.
Yeah. They got a 7-pound small.
Yeah.
No. And they made him fillet it.
Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth.